you're never too old. Let's just have some fun, with the bass guitar. Why not? You don't have to be a virtuoso bass player. Let's just have fun and, enjoy a great groove, be it, eighth notes or some Motown stuff, you name it.
Hi, and welcome to ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Lehmann, founder and first baseman. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, but you think you can't because you think you're too old or your body won't cooperate or any of those kinds of reasons, you should know that right now there are thousands of people inside the For Bass Players Only community. A lot of them of the silver-aged vintage, and they are learning bass, having the time of their life playing music that they love. You should come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself, because you're never too old to groove. So let's play bass. My guest this week is Lars Lehmann. He was trying to give me the authentic pronunciation of his name. I said, is it Lars or is it Lars? And he says, it's Lars.
You're doing great, though, man. You're a quick.
Mr. Lehmann, throughout his illustrious career, he's doubled on electric and upright bass in studio environments and live settings with a whole big long list of renowned artists like Uli John Roth, Vinnie Moore, Simon Phillips, Pee Wee Ellis, Marty Friedman, Clyde Stubblefield, Gus G. I mean, the list just goes on and on. He's been a frequent lecturer and clinician at London's Academy of Contemporary Music, the University of Music, Drama, and Media in Hanover, Germany, as well as the International Warwick Bass Camp in Markneukirchen, Germany. That's where we met back in 2014. Lars is also the author of Slap Attack, a staple technique for electric bass, staple technique book for electric bass. This is his second time on For Bass Players Only. Welcome back, Lars. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
I can't believe it's been 10 years since we first met. Actually, that first interview that I just mentioned, that was done at the Warwick Bass Camp in 2014, 10 years ago. So anything new?
How big a hard drive do you have?
Well, why don't we start with what's keeping you busy these days? What's going on? What are you doing?
Well, first of all, I just flew back in from a beautiful holiday in Portugal. We've been on vacation for like 4 weeks, which is great. When I was younger, I used to take vacation whenever I had the time. It was maybe a week here or 3 days there. And nowadays that I've grown older, I really force myself, to go on holiday for like 4 weeks or so, because I just need that relaxation time with my family, the quality time. And once I'm back into business, which is now, and I'm currently in the process of rehearsing stuff for upcoming gigs. I'm actually subbing for a very well-known German artist by the name of Sasha. He's a great guy. He's one of the pop stars in Germany. And I have a gig coming up at, on August 24, I think. So I'm pretty busy learning those songs right now by heart. And I have some more stuff, some more gigs coming up. So I'm definitely kind of busy these days.
When you're not traveling with your family on holiday and you're working as a musician, as a bass player, are you pretty well situated where you live, or are you doing a lot of traveling with that as well?
There is still a lot of traveling involved, but not as much as I used to. Before my daughter was born, she's 10 now, I was on the road more than I was at home, really. And but when our daughter was born, I decided, I didn't want to travel as much as I did earlier. But there's still, I mean, being a musician, there's always traveling involved, right? So yeah, there still is a lot of traveling, and I go to the Warwick guys, to the German Sadowski factory a lot. I have a lot of gigs here and there. I do clinics and all that sort of stuff. So I'd say I'm constantly traveling, but I'm not away from home for more like 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
You're still actively going to Warwick, huh? In Mark near Kitchen?
Have you seen all those promotional videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I was there actually. They invited me when the Warwick Sadowski, what do you call it, licensing merger alliance, whatever it was. That was in December of 2019. That's when COVID was just, hey, I'm coming. You don't know about me yet, but I'm. It was like just before. But Roger was there, and there were some other folks from, like Bass Player Magazine and some of the others. And I remember having a great time. We were in an Italian restaurant in Markneukirchen, Germany, drinking red wine and hanging out with Roger Sadowski and just having a great time and getting another tour and a very in-depth tour of the whole factory there. And it's just, it was incredible. It was a great time.
Amazing factory, all the wood shop and everything is crazy, really.
Yeah, it really is. And who was it again? Marcus Spangler.
Spangler, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, he gave us the whole tour. But you had mentioned in the last interview, you said you had a solo record and you were working on another one. I don't want to put you on the spot. That was 10 years ago. So has any of that materialized since then?
Man, I must confess, I didn't make it. There was always so much work to do, and I was constantly like touring and teaching, and I've been doing studio gigs, so many studio gigs. It was just crazy that I just couldn't handle my own stuff. Shame on me. And this kind of bugs me every now and then, but then again, it's great to be working, and I really appreciate, being given the chance to play with so many different artists. But actually, to answer your question, no, it has not happened so far.
Well, there's no need for shame. You're working, you're doing what you do. Um, I've gotten to know Alberto Ragoni pretty well over the years, and you did something with him not too long. Was it Miserlou? Were you playing with the pick and you're doing this incredible stuff with him?
As well as double thumbing.
Yeah, that was a great compilation, and he's a great guy. My wife and I were in Italy a few years back, and I reached out to Alberto, and we did an interview. It's probably not as special to him to have the background as it was to what was the city with all the water, Venice, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So we're standing over a bridge and I'm doing the interview and when you watch the interview you can see the what do we call it, catamarans going by. Yeah, it was just beautiful. And his wife was there and my wife was there. We had a wonderful time together. He's been very prolific as well, and it was great to see you doing that collaboration with him. And there's a YouTube video also, right? I think you were probably in Germany and he was in Italy, but you still did a video together, right?
Just the way things go these days, But Alberto, he's a great guy, and he's always, getting in touch every now and then. He's like the opposite of me. He's constantly throwing out, solo records here and there, and it's just I'm taking a look at his output, and I'm just. How do you do that? How do you even do that? How do you manage to do that? I wish I could do it, but I'm for some reason different. Everybody's different. But yeah, he's got every now and then, and he's like, "Oh man, I need you to solo on this one. I need some of that crazy double thumbing stuff or plectrum stuff," and so he's keeping me busy every now and then.
Well, Lars, maybe you and I can help each other here because I've got at least one record in up here and more than up here. I've got some things written out. I've got a lot of things that I've started to organize. I've got actually several records that I haven't made one yet. I've also got a dream list of people that I want to feature on it. So I invite you to get in my face, and I'll be happy to return the favor and get in your face, and we can just push each other. Hey, how's it going? Did you get that record out yet? Oh no, I'm working. All right, you want to do that for each other?
Let's do that.
Um, this is going to be kind of a loaded question, I think, because I see a whole big boat of bases there. But I wanted to ask you about your gear. You mentioned Warwick and you mentioned Sadowski. And, I've interviewed, I think this is interview like 870 something. So there are a lot of people say, tell me about your gear. And a lot of people say, oh, I have 200 bases. I have 300 bases. And I say, okay, that's cool. That's nice. I bet, though, when you go to play the bass, you probably gravitate to the same one or two or three that you play all the time. And they say, yeah, that's pretty much true. So now that I've prefaced it, tell me about your basses, your gear. What are you playing? And the primary stuff. We don't have time for you to describe every one of those, and that's not even your entire collection. But
That's right. There's some more over there. Yeah, I mean, as you probably remember, I was endorsing Music Man when we met last time. I'm not doing that anymore due to a change in the German distribution, and but at the same time, when this endorsement sort of faded out, I got the call from Hans-Peter Wilford, and he told me, we're doing Sadowski over here in Germany. Want to come over and shoot a couple of videos with us? Which I did, and we up to this day we haven't signed a contract, no nothing, but I do have this beautiful. Let me show you this beauty to you. I have this beautiful red Metroline, which is just a stunner. Very beautiful bass. This comes out of the German factory. It's from the Metroline. And this has been my go-to bass ever since then. I also have a Will Lee from the Metroline series. And I also have a Metroline modern bass with 24 frets coming up. It's still in the making. And so, yeah, those basically are my go-to basses these days. The 5-string as well as the 4-string. I also have a beautiful Morleau from my friend Gerard Morleau. That's a beauty as well.
how do you say it? Garrett? I always know him as Gerald.
Gerard, yeah, Gerald, yeah, Gerard.
Yeah.
So this has been customized with the special electronics. These are Clubman pickups. Have you ever heard of the Clubman guys?
I've heard him. I don't know much about that brand, but I've definitely heard the name. Yes.
Are amazing. They're sort of like the German Fralins, I'd say.
Mhm.
Amazing guys with a ton of knowledge, about pickups and electronics and you name it. And those are amazing pickups if you want to go for that traditional Fender-ish growl. Great gear, man. And I also have this. What can I show you? This is an interesting piece. This is a 6-string, which was made by Magnus Krempel, if you heard of him. Unfortunately, he died earlier this year. So this is, take a look at that wooden bridge. And he carved out all of that by hand. Can you believe it? So this is a beautiful 6-string fretless. Beautiful, beautiful piece, man. Yeah, this is basically my go-to bass when it comes to fretless so far. And what else? I have a 1986 Fodera with a tremolo. And this is also a very beautiful bass. 1986, go figure. And apart from that, I'm still endorsing Mark bass amps. Very lucky to be endorsing them, and that's basically it. That's pretty much my go-to gear, I'd say, these days. I also have a couple of Fenders. I have a couple of Gibsons. I have a Rickenbacker. You name it, a Hofner. But those are my go-to basses these days.
What kind of strings do you play? I'm curious.
Still endorsing Ernie Ball strings. I love the Cobalt strings. Those are great. Been playing them forever, and they hold up very well. And it's just great strings, man.
So that didn't get in the way of you mentioned the Music Man and the German distribution, Ernie Ball. That's not a problem somehow.
still being distributed by the former Music Man distributor, who also did the instruments, but nowadays they're only doing the strings.
I see. Any effects or stuff like that? Stop boxes, rack modules, any?
Lots of
Oh,
stuff, but they effects they come and go. I like a good wah wah. You see the white one there, down there. That's lots of fun. I like a nice fuzz here and there just for an effect. What else can I tell you? I love Rheingold cables. Have you in America heard of Rheingold cables?
I think I've heard of them. Yeah, obviously I'm not intimately familiar with them, but yes, I know the name.
Those are great cables, man. It's a great company from Duisburg in Germany. It's actually a family-owned company, pretty small and tiny, but they're building some great, very high-quality stuff. And those cables, Rheingold cables, they definitely rock.
Hey, getting back to effects for a second, have you ever played a Sans amp, the Tech 21?
I do. I have like two. One is somewhere down here. Yeah, I have the very old one. This one
Yeah.
collected a lot of dust. And one is in my studio rack, which is down here, which is the RB1. I'm not sure, but I'm hardly ever using those ones. The one that I use for recording these days, let me show you that, is this one. Have you heard of the Goliath?
Goliath.
Goliath, I'm sorry, yeah. Goliath by WR amplification from Luxembourg. So it's a one-man company, and this thing is killer. It's pretty much like the Noble preamp. They're pretty similar, but I just love my Goliath. It's a killer piece, and there's not one studio job that I'm playing without my Goliath when I'm working here in my environment.
Let's talk about playing bass and learning bass. When we met at the Warwick camp, I think you were not just an attendee, you were one of the professors, right?
That's right, yeah.
So you teach, and for bass players only, as you know, is a bass instruction site. And I've got people now from pretty much every state in the US and 50, 60 countries worldwide, probably more than that now. And most of the people I mentioned, how did I refer to them? Silver aged vintage. Most of the people that I'm attracting, most are men. We are getting more women now too, but most of the people are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. I've got students in their 80s. And they're not trying to be rock stars. They just want to learn to play bass for fun. They want to play some classic rock riffs. They want to play some blues shuffles, maybe some walking bass, maybe a little funk R&B, maybe some slapping. And some of the things that happen to people when they get into their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, arthritis, tendonitis, sometimes recovering from surgery. And I always try to impress upon them, you don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger to play the bass. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. It's amazing how great you can make the music feel with just a super simple bass groove. So I'm telling you all this just to give you a context of who we're talking about. With that in mind, Lars, what advice can you impart to somebody like that who wants to learn bass? What do you think is important for them to know or to think about?
I think it's just, you just mentioned it basically. You're never too old. Let's just have some fun, with the bass guitar. Why not? You don't have to be a virtuoso bass player. Let's just have fun and, enjoy a great groove, be it, eighth notes or some Motown stuff, you name it, and it's so much fun. And given you have a good teacher, or are the member of whatever online school, like for bass players only, for instance, you can, play your own bass riffs within a couple of weeks, I'd say. And that's basically what I do. I mean, I do have some private students here and there from pretty much all over the world. I have a guy from the US. Hi, Sam. But you know, I'm basically teaching at like two universities in Germany, in Hanover as well as in Mannheim, Germany. And you know, those are obviously boys and girls who are much younger, but you are definitely never too old. As long as you can move those old fingers and hold a bass guitar around your neck, or maybe just you know sitting, you can enjoy a good groove, man. It's never too late.
Yeah, good. I love it. You mentioned something in our previous interview. You said something that you appreciate or you like being a proper servant to the music. And I wrote down that little phrase because I really liked it so much. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Let's put it this way. I mean, some people, you know, I've been around a few years, right? Obviously, and some people know me from back then when I was like the super fast slap guy, and I did the tapping things and stuff like that, and I still do it. It's not that I am reluctant to do that, but you know, the time I enjoy the most is actually the time when I'm playing with a good group. I'm able to enjoy a great groove with a good drummer or a rhythm guitar player. I really love that. I love playing eighth notes, and I love to give the song whatever's needed. You know, and we've all been there. You know, we've been in the loud and proud phase of our lives, right? But I still know how to do that, but. As long as I can play a great groove within a band, I'm the luckiest guy on the planet.
I think the lesson there is if you can do that stuff, great. Just keep it in your back pocket and pull it out if and when it helps the song.
Let's call it headroom, right?
Call it what?
Let's call it headroom. Like if you have 1,000 watt amp, you're
Yeah.
not going to need those 1,000 watts, you know. But once you have to go, broop, it's there, you know. And it's
Yeah.
the same playing techniques. And I still love practicing every day when I have the time. Like when we were in Portugal just now, I had my little short scale Dan Electro bass with me, and I would practice every day, man, just because I love it so much. It's not that I need it. I could go on holiday for like, I don't know, 10 weeks and come back, and I would play as good as I before my holiday, you know. But I just enjoy it so much that uh, I love to spend every minute of the day with my bass guitar when I'm on holiday.
Ah, that's wonderful. Well, hopefully not every minute. You had your wife and your daughter, but
Family.
what about the future? Is there anything that you haven't already mentioned that's coming up and either that or something you've always wanted to do and haven't done yet or something that's in the works? What about the future?
Well, I'd say a second solo album would be a great thing, really. But you know how it is. I don't know if that's going to happen. Apart from that, I'm still playing my bread and butter gigs at the theater, you know, in the orchestra pit playing double bass and with a bow sometimes, with a conductor, and doing my studio gigs. You know, I've been doing lots and lots and lots of studio work here at my home studio. I've had guys from like customers from the US. I've had people from Holland, you know, the Netherlands. I've had a guy from Czech Republic asking for fretless bass, and a guy from the UK. Obviously, there's a couple Italians. So I want to go on doing just what I do right now. It's a good life, really.
Good. Obviously, you're enjoying it and it serves you well. I don't believe I asked you this last time, Lars, but if you could imagine, what would you be if you were not a bass player? Something outside of music.
Oh, to be a banker? No, 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 definitely not. I don't know. I'd probably be like a therapist, you know, helping people out. Maybe I'd be a school teacher or something like that. Um, Maybe I'd be a painter or a writer, something like that.
Wow. You're a creative person with a big heart.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because I just, I hate people, who would just talk and talk um, and I like to be a good person. I enjoy being a good person, a sympathetic guy, and um, yeah, and I enjoy, teaching. I enjoy art of many kinds. So yeah, but I mean, obviously, music is still the best, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, that's very inspiring. I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you so much. Let's not wait another 10 years before we do this again.
Listen, thank you so much for having me. It's been a great pleasure. And I appreciate you doing all that great work that you do with ForBassPlayersOnly.com. And I wish you all the best, man.
Thank
And
you
let's
so much. And I love what you do too. And I always look forward to seeing you on YouTube or wherever you are. So keep it up and we'll all keep enjoying it.
thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Lars. You're watching ForBassPlayersOnly.com. I'm John Liebman, founder and first baseman. If you've ever wanted to learn bass, but you think you're too old or your body won't cooperate or some other reason, you should know that right now there are thousands of people inside the For Bass Players Only community. A lot of them of the silver aged vintage, and they are learning bass, having the time of their life playing music that they love. You should come join them and experience that incredible transformation for yourself. Remember, you're never too old to groove. So let's play bass, just like Lars said. Thank you to my special guest, Lars Lehmann. I will see you all right back here next week, same time, same place. In the meantime, let's play bass.